What's up, everybody? You're watching B-Boy 45. It's a wonderful Wednesday morning, made even more wonderful by the fact that I've got my friend, Maya, on the line. Maya, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Oh, good. Maya, yes. I'm so glad you're there. But you're not just there by yourself. Who are you with?
Asa Butterfield.
We got Asa Butterfield on the line. Hey, how's it going, Asa?
Hey,
great to see you.
Hey, I got an applause.
Yeah, you do. The crowd is absolutely going wild here in the Seacrest Studios at Children's Hospital, Colorado. That is awesome. Maya, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I just finished binge watching season 3 of your Netflix show, which I loved. And so I am so excited to be talking to you. I really can't believe I'm talking to you. So
that's so sweet. Oh, I'm glad you like it. It's kind of crazy. When I first saw your image and I saw you with that background, I was like, that looks awfully familiar.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear you're a fan of the show. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, my whole family and I watch the show, and we were all so excited when I knew I was going to be talking to you. So,
oh, cool. Well, tell them I say hi.
I will.
Nice.
Thank you. So my first question for you is, when was the first moment you knew you wanted to be an actor?
The first moment I knew I wanted to be an actor? I don't know. It was a long time ago now, because I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. How old are you, Maya?
18.
18. So I've been doing it. So by the time I was 18, I'd already been doing it 10 years. But I didn't realize I wanted to be an actor until I was a teenager. Even after my first few roles, my first few jobs, I didn't expect to carry on doing it until I was an adult. And it was when I did a film called Hugo, which came out, I think, I was 13 when I did it. So my maths isn't that good. I don't know how many ago that was. I can't do it that. So I was 13 years old, and really, I think it was being on that set with that team, with an amazing director and an amazing script. And I think it was during that movie that I really fell in love with acting, and not just acting, but filmmaking and all of the different things that go into it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So my next question is actually about Hugo. So I know you played the title character, Hugo, in the movie. Was it intimidating to work with Martin Scorsese so early in your career and at such a young age?
You know what? I think it was less intimidating then than it would have been now. I think being young and being a kid or a teenager actually made it less intimidating, because I could kind of just not think about the bigger picture and just have fun and enjoy what I was doing. And I didn't, because most of Scorsese's films are 18 or PG-17, I couldn't even watch them. So I didn't know what most of his movies were. So going into it, I didn't really feel much pressure. And I think I just went along with it. And I think that really helped. If I worked with him now, I'd be sweating.
So you were also in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Were you a fan of the books?
I've read the first 2, maybe the first 3 books, but I didn't know them before I read the script. So when I got the part and I got the script, that was when I decided to read the books. But I hadn't read them up until then.
Yeah. So what was it challenging to star in an adaptation of such a loved young adult book series?
No, I think having a book is a great reference point for an actor and for a film, because there's so much more information in a book that you can't really fit into a script or a movie. So you read the book and you've got all of these extra details to learn from.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a slight, when there's a fan base already for a project or a story, it is a little intimidating. But you just have to trust what you're doing and trust the director and the vision. I'm quite good at not feeling the pressure, but I know some people really do.
Yeah. There actually there are books I've read that I actually never heard of until they were like turned into a series or a movie. Yeah. And so then I watched that and I'm like, oh, I'm going to read the book. And then when I know a lot of people who read the book first and then see the movie or show, they're always like, that wasn't in the book. For me, when something wasn't in the book that was in the show, that annoys me. I'm like, this wasn't in the show. This isn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of the opposite of everyone else.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. There's always, whenever I've got some of my favorite books which have been adapted into movies, and when you feel so protective over characters and a story, it's sometimes quite hard to watch another person's idea of it. Yeah. Because you have such a strong idea of the story just from reading the book. So I get what you mean. So you play Otis in your Netflix series, which I just absolutely love. My family and I watch it together. Your show does such a good job of like being everything, being funny and touching and relevant, and really portrays friendships. What is your favorite part of being a part of this show? My favorite part, probably the people involved and the friends I've made. It's a really special show for me, just because everyone on it is so lovely. The cast, the crew, everyone comes back for each season because there's just such a nice atmosphere and everyone really gets on. And it's a great script, but there's also so much freedom to explore these characters and have fun. As you said, it's funny, it's a comedy. So they really encourage us to just experiment with it and be spontaneous and have fun. And I think that really comes across in the show.
Yeah. When we were watching, like every season we watch within like a couple days, and we'll like stay up really late watching the show, and we're always like, okay, we have to go to bed, but after one more episode. So we just want to watch it all night.
I've heard a lot of people who've like watched the whole series in one weekend or a couple of days. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So have you played a character or been part of a project that you've related to more than others?
That's a good question. I think, I definitely have. Some characters feel very removed from myself and feel quite different. And I've played characters which feel very familiar and which I put a lot of myself into. Otis, I think probably because I've played Otis for 3 years now, it feels very easy and feels very familiar to find that character. but I've played. So I did a film called X Plus Y. Or I think it's called A Brilliant Young Mind in the US. And I played someone on the spectrum. And that was quite an interesting challenge for me, just to really find an authentic portrayal for this character, which felt very different to me as Asa, but still felt familiar enough that I could make it honest, and I feel like I was there. So yeah, there's lots of different characters, some of which are easier, some of which are harder to find.
Cool. Yeah. So, what do you do to get into character before a scene?
I think it depends on the character. So Otis, I mean, I think a lot of Otis comes from the setting and the costume. So he has his jacket, being in school. It immediately kind of helps me find Otis. And as I said, he feels quite familiar to me at this point. So there's nothing I have to do in particular to get into character. But I do, like, if I need to kind of psych myself up for a scene, I do sort of like jog on the spot, or I do pace a lot when I'm on set, to kind of stay in the moment. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the character, really.
Cool. So what is your go-to song when you want to have a dance party?
My go-to song for a dance? I don't know, probably some disco. Anything by Earth, Wind and Fire will get me moving.
Oh, cool. Is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
What have I been watching? I've just finished a show called Mad Men, which is really good. I'm watching an anime at the moment called Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'm about halfway through. That's also really good. There are so many good TV shows I haven't started yet. I've got a long list of things I need to watch, honestly. It's terrible.
Yeah, we've been during this whole pandemic, we've binge watched so many shows, and especially because still now, since like things aren't over and I'm still scared to leave the house, I haven't left really, since I haven't left the house so much since last year. And so we've been watching
lots of TV
shows. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been in that situation. It's a great time to just finish all those TV shows you never started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I binged watched so many of the CW shows at the beginning of this. So yeah, that's what I did for like half of the pandemic.
So for me, that was just playing video games. Like the first half of the pandemic, I just went online, was playing video games with my friends all day, and that got me through that, not leaving the house.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So do you have a go-to movie that you always watch when you just need to relax?
Almost every year I will watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy at some point. Those are my favorite movies ever since I was a kid. I remember going to see the cinema to see the third Lord of the Rings when I must have been about 6 years old. I was probably a bit too young to watch it, honestly. I did, apparently. I vividly remember walking up to it, and I had like posters on my wall of Gollum and all the characters. So the Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite go-to comfort movie.
Oh, cool. So what personality trait always seems to get you in trouble?
Get me in trouble. Oh, I don't know. I can be quite stubborn, but I'm also very patient, I think. I try to be. But what gets me in trouble? I don't know. I'm quite relaxed about most things, and I'm quite blasé about some things, particularly on sort of, I don't know, social media or on the internet. And that it hasn't got me in trouble yet, but I think it might one day. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is there a line from a movie, book, or song that's always, or that's had a big impact on you?
Not that I can remember. I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Yeah. I just going back one question.
Sure.
Really fast. So my sister and I are basically like, we're just versions of, like, we're both just like our mom. We've had like, we share a lot of the same traits. Like our mom used to be, or still is, like very like stubborn and and like when somebody tells her she has to do something, she'll like immediately not want to do it. And that's the way my sister and me and my sister are. So it's very funny to like have the three of us in a room. If somebody tells us what to do, all three of us will just be like, nope.
The perfect storm of stubbornness in one room.
Yes.
Nice.
So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Who do I consider to be a real life superhero? I would say, for me, it'd be David Attenborough, who is a wildlife documentary filmmaker. And you've probably heard his voice, even if you don't realize it. I think everyone's probably heard his voice at one point narrating some wildlife documentary. And he is, he has been around the world and has done so much for education and so much for the environment and for the planet. And he continues to do it all year, every year. And he must be in his 90s now. And he's still going, and he's still just as driven and passionate and active. And that is really inspirational. And he's someone I've always looked up to and admired.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, that was my last question for you. So thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, Maya. It's so lovely to speak with you.
You too. And I have to tell you, you are, my whole family and I are fans of yours, and my sister has seen like everything you've done. And so you're her favorite actor, and she couldn't believe I was talking to you.
Oh, well, give her my love, and to all the family.
Thank you. I will.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, Maya. Lovely to speak.
you.
Have a nice day.
Asa, thank you.
Too.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.